Friday, 6:30 a.m. January 11th, 2024. Los Angeles. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome if it's your first time. The Terminator, 1984. The classic, iconic horror, sci-fi, action thriller was filmed right here in Los Angeles 40 years ago this year. I am so stoked to be here, guys. I am here because I am a huge fan of the Terminator myself. Ever since I was a kid, always loved this movie. I spent a lot of time watching it, specifically the first one and T2 Judgment Day, which was also filmed in Los Angeles. It being 2024, Terminator was at the top of my list. So here we are, and here we go. I put a lot of time, research, and effort in researching the locations that I will be traveling out, documenting today, the locations where they filmed the movie 40 years later. I am already very nervous and excited about what we're gonna see today. I've got some stuff that has never been seen before, documented before on video, so I'm so stoked. The Terminator, James Cameron's first big hit. This is the movie that put him on the map, and also the movie that put Arnold Schwarzenegger on the map as well. I'll be back. I'm gonna show you where Arnold Schwarzenegger first said those words today. Let's do this. Are you ready? We begin here in Griffith Park at the iconic Griffith Observatory. It's right over there. There's much ahead. And we begin approaching the legendary Griffith Observatory. My first time here. There's a shot of Arnold walking this way. I'm recreating the shot. Within this video, I will show you the screenshots of the film comparing the then location to the now location. That's my favorite part. And although this is a night shot, it's very identifiable because of the lighting. The then and now, Arnold walking towards me. This is a few minutes into the movie, but I wanted to use this first screenshot to frame up and establish the location. The garbage truck and the Terminator appear right here on the southeast side of Griffith Observatory. Actually, right here is where the garbage truck pulls up and the Terminator begins. He comes from the future. I've got this screenshot on my phone, but I'm also going to place it in the screen and pinpoint to you exactly where the truck was. Everything looks pretty much the same. Right here is where the truck pulled in, pulled up the dumpster, and then the Terminator actually came in from the future. And about this spot right here, this wall right here specifically, right before this lattice, these are steps. These were not here back in 1984, but this further wall, and specifically this up here, can be seen. Notice this up here specifically in the screenshot. This is where the truck pulled the dumpster up. And right here before this giant lattice window, right there is where Arnold the Terminator comes to 1984. This is the first time you see him as the Terminator on screen in this very spot. And I know that because of this screenshot. As he's about to stand up, notice the lattice window behind him, and off to the left, a column with a light on it. Here we are today. There's the lattice window. There's the column and the light, different light. In the fetal position, Arnold stands up, just like here, right there. That's awesome. And then he walks right out here. And then as Arnold walks this way, I pause the screen just right briefly so you can make out the wall of the Griffith Observatory there to his right shoulder as he's walking this way towards the wall. And this truck's a little in the way, but right here, recreating the shot, the iconic shot of Arnold looking down over the city of Los Angeles, programming himself. This is also the location of the Switchblade fight in Rebel Without a Cause, James Dean right here, a long time ago. I'm nerding out, love that movie. So, as Arnold walks away from the wall off camera, he would have walked right up the side of the Griffith Observatory here and heads out to where those three fellas are. And now back to the shot when Arnold's walking away from the observatory. He would have walked right down this way towards those three guys that were standing right over here at this platform. This is where Bill Paxton was. There was some sort of a gate and an awning in this location during the movie. You can see the railing to the far left is the same here today. Check this out. This right here is where those three were standing. Bill Paxton there in the middle with a mohawk. Nice night for a walk, eh? I love that line. That's the first thing the Terminator says. Nice night for a walk, eh? Right here in this spot. A really quick screen grab as Arnold's coming up to these three. You can make out Griffith Observatory in the background and the railing here to the right. And it kind of wraps all the way around it. This tree is obstructing the view of the observatory right now, but this is it. It's very cool that the Hollywood sign is right up there in the hills in the background. When Arnold, the Terminator, throws Bill Paxton against that fence, you can make out more of the railing to the left and a little bit of this building over to the right, this structure. Yeah, so it was like right here where this picnic table is, where that was all going down 40 years ago. And a nice shot of Arnold barefoot lifting the guy up in the air, the switchblade there to his right foot, out beyond this other dude laying, that's the dude he gets his clothes off of, by the way, laying against the rail. And you can make out that rail behind him. Just to add to this, check it out. About right here in this spot is where that happened. You can see the ledge and the rail then and now in the screenshot. All right, so check this out. In the concrete here, there's some evidence of perhaps where that awning was sitting. Goodbye, Griffith Observatory. I'll be back. And for the next several locations, we come to the busy Victory Boulevard in Van Nuys, near the valley. I think this is technically the valley. This next location, the first location, there's several just right here, the gun shop. This is an easy one to find because the address is right on the screen as the Terminator enters the gun shop, not from this angle. Welcome to Alamo Gun Shop. And I paused the screen just right. A-L-A-M-O, Sports Shop and Guns. Arnold's head right before this sign here today. As you can see, no longer a gun shop, now a car dealership. 14329. The camera kind of goes like this as Arnold walks right into the door. Someone is walking out as he is walking in. 14329, that same letters right there. All this hasn't changed in 40 years. And guess what? I have had permission, I have been given permission to go inside. You get a little video. This is where they filmed it. The weapons would have been right here up on the wall. Dick Miller behind the counter. This is so cool. The Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger right here. Uzi, 9mm. You're in luck. We close early today. He loads the shotgun. Hey, you can't do that, pal, says Dick Miller. Wrong. Bam! This is freaking it. Amazing. I'll put a screenshot in the lower right hand corner. The windows match up and everything. The counter right here. Check out the Porsche Boxster here. James Dean. Look at that. And a few minutes later in the movie, in exactly the same spot, a little movie magic, Arnold pulls up in the station wagon and parks right here in this spot before the gun shop. But you don't know that's there. This is when he pulls the dude out of the payphone. The guy that kind of looks like the dude from Harry Potter. What's his name? Hagrid. This car here to the left is almost parked in the same spot as you see Arnold here in this screenshot. That building across the street has not changed much at all. Look at the window patterns, and also in the movie that square sign to the left above the hood of the station wagon says Zig. That sign is still there. I'll put it in the lower right hand corner. Backed it up just a few moments. This pole is the same as you see in the lower right hand corner. He parked right here, so that means the payphone was right here, just off to the right of the gun shop. Not only can you see the billboard, you can make out a little bit of the pole to the right, but way off in the distance you can make out the light poles that are still here today. The 3 lamps on that light pole. All right, so check it out. The billboard, the post here, the light pole, and that light pole out in the distance. Arnold would have been checking out the phone book right here on the former payphone booth, which very well that could have been where the post was for the payphone. Right there. I'll put it into frame there for you. Just look at all of this, then and now. He was freaking right here, the Terminator. And it's right here in this very spot at that payphone where he looks up his first Sarah Connor. And then just a few blocks away, actually right around the corner, he kills the wrong Sarah Connor. And the next location is so close, I think I'm gonna leave my rental car parked right here and walk to it. I actually have to make a left down here and go about a block over. 14239 Gilmore Street, the location of the former wrong Sarah Connor's house. Sarah Connor? Yes. Bam. Okay, that scene. If you see the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I'll show you some screenshots, I'll break it down. That house used to sit right here. Now it's an apartment complex. Also, this whole street has pretty much changed, but there is some evidence and some things that you see behind Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, as he pulls up, specifically this house right here. And the scene begins with the camera really low. There's a little girl coming down this sidewalk here on a big wheel. The house that's behind her, long gone too. And the camera low across the street, and the toy truck, I always thought that was kind of a foreshadowing moment to the end of the movie. The toy semi-truck gets crushed by Arnold's station wagon. But when the camera points the other way, the other side of Gilmore Street has not changed. You can see this house and this house right behind Arnold in this screenshot 40 years ago. That house still painted blue. The other one to the right, it was like a beige, now kind of a gray. Well, check it out, I paused it just right so you can see it then and now. Arnold walking right here towards Sarah's house. The wrong Sarah Connor. Also, Arnold looks over and there's a barking dog right here in the yard. There he is right there. He would have been about right here in this area as he was walking up to Sarah's house. 14239, 14239. I've got the screenshots broken down. This scene right here, 40 years ago. And now we come to downtown LA. I am just before the alleyway, one of the 3 alleyways that was used for the filming location of when Kyle Reese comes from the future. As I'm recreating the shot, I'm noticing that the curve is the same, the fire hydrant the same, even this crack right here, all the same of the first establishing shot of LA 40 years later. So the camera pans over to my left and it alludes that Kyle Reese has come from the future in that alley, but in reality he didn't. They actually barely used this alleyway behind Broadway off of 7th. They used this alley over here a lot. This is the alleyway where we see all of the police car chases. I have evidence to show you all of this. This is the alleyway where Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, punches the window, but the alleyway that Kyle Reese actually comes to in the beginning. Hey buddy, did you see a bright light and the homeless man was sitting and he takes his pants off of that dude? That was not here. It's actually a block away between Hill Street and Broadway, down to the left. That's the alleyway they used. They used that alleyway, this alleyway, across here, across 7th, and this one. And I'm gonna show you a bunch of screenshots and evidence. I spent a lot of time breaking this down. And I'm referring to this scene right here. This is a different alleyway than this one. And now 1 block up on 7th between Broadway and Hill, this alleyway is where they shot the scenes of Kyle Reese coming to LA in 1984. Things have changed quite a bit, but there is some evidence I can show you that this is the main alleyway used in the Terminator. You see this opening to the left, this doorway? Right there, that's where the homeless man was sitting. That is the spot where Kyle took his pants. That's where he took his pants. First, I want to show you how I confirmed that it was this alleyway. See on the dumpster, 707 Broadway? Well, if you look on a map, 707 Broadway is right here down the alleyway to the left. This is the back side of that dumpster, which would have been down there to the left. They very well could still have the same dumpster down there. I wish we could get in here. As you can see, it's all blocked up, but there's several things along the walls and screenshots that you see the St. Vincent Court in the background that I've confirmed this location. So I pulled this image off of Google. This is Street View from 2007, just to show you that this corner has changed. This little railing piece that you see a lot in the scenes is gone, but these 1, 2, 3, 4 holes to these looks like fire hose ports are still there, just to confirm that everything you're seeing in the screenshots that I'm pointing out to you, to show you the color of the wall is still the same, just to show you that this has changed so much. Here's another shot I grabbed from Google imagery just to show you that the spot where the homeless guy was sitting has changed. That's the opening in 2007. Notice the railing that used to be here then and now. That's where that was. So if I go through the mesh, that opening, it's kind of hard to see, is still there to the left. That opening has been covered up today. If you look at those orange cones right before the wall, that is the exact spot where that opening was back in 1984. That's where the guy was laying. The guy goes like, "Hey buddy, did you see a bright light?" That was literally right there in that opening. Now this would be the opposite angle down the alleyway, but I want to point out when Kyle's running back this way, you can make out the homeless man's legs there, but there's the opening. And all of this along the wall still matches up today. So when the police first come up to the alleyway, this shot would have been behind me down the alley just a little bit. Beyond the police car, you can make out a specific opening, like a tunnel, and that is the St. Vincent Court right there. The police car would have came up and pulled right here, because you can see that right behind there in the screenshot down to the right, the St. Vincent Court. And in that same screenshot I have been showing you for the St. Vincent Court, right there in the bottom right hand corner, that same structure that I pointed out to you moments ago that is now gone, confirming this location once again. And later when Kyle steals the shotgun and runs back out into the street, emerges from the alley, check this out. Same alley here. There is that piece that we were identifying that is no longer here. So he would have took the corner right here. I'll put the screenshot in the lower right hand corner. Kyle comes to 7th. He runs out and then walks a little this way and goes across the street. You don't really see this, it's a tight shot, but the phone booth, it alluded to it being right there on the corner. That's where he looked up Sarah Connor. You see behind Kyle here the split buildings? That was my biggest clue that this scene, these scenes were not filmed in the alleyway behind me, because if that were true, you would see the St. Vincent Court and not a split. That split is actually a block away to one of the first alleys I showed you. And back here across from where we started, there's the alleyway we began. That's where most people assume that all of those scenes took place, but in reality, because of a lot of time I spent looking at the structures, you can see this corner of this building specifically, and this building, now a parking garage, in the background of the alley scenes, specifically the chase scenes up and down this alley. And I can tell you why this alley specifically is because it's wide enough to do police chases. So anytime you saw a chase on foot, and the most famous one, Arnold coming down this way, jumping on top and over the car and punching the windshield, that was filmed right here in this alley, across from that one, the first one you see in the movie. And I have some photos to match up. Okay, so I'm walking into this parking lot. If you look up here to the right, I believe those windows can be seen as Arnold is punching the glass on the windshield. Those ones right here. I'm walking towards the alleyway. This is the closest I'm gonna get. Now this is between Spring Street and Broadway. Oh crap, this is awesome. Holy cow. Okay, not only can you see that window up there in this screenshot, I'm gonna put it down the right as I'm explaining it. You can make out this garage door, the opening, that light, and this gutter. This is the exact spot where Schwarzenegger punches the glass. All because you can see all of that in the screenshot. Do you follow me? This is between Spring Street and Broadway. All right, I'm sticking my camera through here. This is as close as we can get. Check this out. I'm gonna put the shot down to the right. Everything matches up. This is the spot right here. It's freaking sick. It's where the Terminator punched the car, the windshield. And almost exactly where Arnold punches the window. I was looking for this spot. It just popped out to me. There is a third alley that they filmed in, actually a fourth alley, and it's this one. It splinters off from the main alley. See this right here? I found this behind Kyle Reese's head in the movie 40 years ago as he takes this corner and goes that way out towards Broad Street. This is the mystery alley. It's been closed on the other side, so I would have never found it. But because of this right here, in the scene when Kyle, being chased by the police officer, goes that way, I could see this. It just happened to be here. This is the fourth mystery alleyway of the Terminator, and I just found it. Check this out. You really have to pause this just right, but you see that shape right there? Kyle is taking the corner. That is a very unique shape, and it's right here because he is taking the corner, literally that corner right there in the Terminator, and the police officer is right behind him and chases him down that alley. It's all blocked off today. There you go. I reached my arm through so you can see the alley. Holy cow. So you can make out those buildings down on the corner there across the street of 7th. I even found a better shot of the police officer passing that same device right there. And not only can you see that, you can see the door, that one right there behind him. I'll put a screenshot down in the lower right. This shows you exactly what's going on here. That they passed right there. That's gnarly. And Kyle runs all the way through the alley and out onto Broadway. It's been blocked off. Mystery solved. I was wondering where that was. Got it. And movie magic. After it appears that Kyle runs right out into Broadway, it cuts right back to this alley where the chase picked up. You can see in the lower right hand corner that same alleyway that I was just showing you, right behind him. And look, again, here we are right here. That, check this out, but I'm doing the best I can. Again, keep in mind, this is where Terminator punched the windshield too. Right there. Holy cow. And you can see those buildings out there way in the background. I took 2 screenshots, 2 different scenes, 2 different moments, 2 different directions. Kyle is running up this specific alleyway. Notice the sign to the right, that red sign, and then later the Terminator, Schwarzenegger, running the opposite way, which would have been towards us right now, passing that same sign. This is evidence showing you that they use this alleyway for those scenes. And just up Spring Street, another access, a parking lot to the alleyway. I think I'm gonna find some more stuff. Perhaps where they came out of the backside of Tech Noir. Okay, so in this screenshot, you see 616 right up there. You had to pause it just right and really look to get that. So that's 616 Broadway. I am standing right across from that. Notice the opening before the police officer to the right. I believe that's this opening right here. That's 616 Broadway. Oh, this is cool. I'm gonna stick my camera in here. Hold on. That is a great shot. You can see all the way down the alleyway. I'll put the screenshot in the lower right hand corner. That right there, that's exactly where this was filmed. And it's a tough angle. I really couldn't see much because of the vehicles and the dumpsters parked along here. But right out to the left along this wall in one of these buildings, I think it's this one right here, is where Kyle and Sarah enter the street, where they come outside of the back of Tech Noir. Now we will go to the actual Tech Noir in just a minute. I know I'm throwing a lot at you guys, just so you can see what's going on. This is where I'm standing. These alleyways between Spring Street and Hill Street. This alleyway is right here. This is where all of those scenes were filmed. And in this moment, and the same alleyway we are standing in right now, Arnold, the Terminator, on top of the hood, Kyle and Sarah in the car is reversing out into 7th. This is very crucial because right after this, they actually cut the camera and make it look like they filmed everything I just showed you in the alleyway across the street. And also, let me add that in this screenshot, you can see that split between the buildings across the street, the same split I've shared before in the screenshot with Kyle Reese running from the police. I have to be very thorough. So behind the police officer right here, which is one of the co-riders, 215. The camera was pointing back this way. It was across the street, so they made it seem like they came out of that alleyway, but they didn't. With all the evidence I just showed you, they came out of this alleyway. It appears that Arnold has fallen off of the hood into the street, out of that alleyway as well. But when he arises, that is clearly 215 behind him as he walks over, passes the alley we were just in, and takes the police car from the police officer. Now back across the street, check this out. Arnold slams the police officer into his car and then takes the car. You can make out the openings, which seemed like there were signs there back then, but this is 215 again. You can barely make out the 215. This is where the police officer's car was, and in this screenshot you can match up the building behind him as he's about to steal the car, and then he takes off down 7th towards Broadway. And I almost forgot, also in this alley, when you see Kyle Reese sawing off the shotgun, the daytime scene, the only daytime scene filmed in an alleyway, that was also in this spot here. All because in the background behind him, you can make out the establishment that you see in the beginning of the film. See the red, white, and blue? That is the alleyway, the building, the current parking garage across the street here today. Brinks truck's kind of blocking it, but that is what you're seeing in the background. That corner of this building right here, as Kyle's sawing off the shotgun in the alley. That's how I know it was filmed. Back here to the left, that is where that happened. That's where the dumpster was. That's where Kyle Reese sawed off the shotgun, put it under his coat, and then walked out of the alley. You can really see it in the building to the left, the column style, the stonework. But that, right there, recreating the shot in a different angle. This building has become a parking garage to the right. They made it seem like all of those scenes were shot in the decoy alley. I don't think anything was filmed in that first alley. All right, now back at Broadway and 7th, I'm heading over to Hill Street. That is the alleyway where Kyle first came to, just to show you, put things into perspective. Over there is the fictitious alleyway. I say that because they absolutely filmed almost nothing in that one. And across the street between Spring and Broadway right here, that is the alley we just left off. Just really want to show you fans out there what happened and where it happened, where they filmed this movie 40 years ago. So we're going over to Hill Street, and on Hill Street over here is the filming location for Tech Noir. And now at 720 Hill Street, right across from the filming location of the nightclub, the pivotal moment, all 3 stories coming to a head inside of Tech Noir. Now they built that club just for the movie in this spot right here. And today, I believe it's a coffee shop. Maybe we can go inside there. It's completely changed. I wish I would have known that. I just bought a coffee down the block, or I would have waited. But 720 is the address of the filming location. And this sidewalk is where you first see Sarah Connor come down before the club. It looked like she exited the pizza restaurant from one of these buildings, but technically, we'll get there much later. That was in Hollywood. And here we are, before Hilltop, formerly Tech Noir. This screenshot I'm showing you, the widest angle you kind of see of the whole thing. You can definitely make out the sign that looks just like this, different letters. In the movie, it was something called the Super C Ranch Market. Today, it's JPB Jewelry Box. That is seen up and to the left. And the main door, where Sarah walks into, would have been closer than it is today to this column. Actually, these columns, that column is right there in the screenshot. It would have been a window back in 1984. The Tech Noir sign was hanging. The awning came out a little bit. It would have been about right up here. And if you look behind Kyle there, his arm, his right shoulder to our left, that is this right here. And then you can see the sign and everything else falls into place behind him. And rewind just a few seconds. I want to start when the scene starts up the sidewalk. A very famous shot of Michael Biehn standing in the opening right up here. I actually got an autograph from him, and I chose for him to sign an 8x10 of this exact moment right here. Okay, I found it. Michael is actually right in front of 712. Today it's called Wow Bowl. But if you look behind him to the right, you can make out this window. That's all right behind him in the screenshot. He's actually leaned up right here in that iconic shot of Michael Biehn, Kyle Reese. This is all changed behind him, but it's this window right here that gives it away, in that tile. This is where Kyle Reese first follows Sarah Connor into Tech Noir. Actually right there. 712 Hill Street. Just like that. And Reese begins to follow Sarah Connor. Quick shot, you can make out this window down to the right. That you can see. Just a quick shot there. I just saw that as I was walking here. There you go, then. And now. All right, back to Tech Noir. Right here would have been the door past this first column. All right, check it out. So the doors have shifted a little bit. They would have been more over here and more flush with this column. I believe, sorry for the music, but I believe this is the column you see inside the door when the camera picks up on Kyle outside the door and you see Sarah. She's standing right in front of this column. Check this out. Linda Hamilton was right here. Now this would have been inside of the building back in 1984. Kyle Reese walking by out on the sidewalk, trying not to give away his position. That's pretty cool. So the ticket booth was right inside the door to the left. Again, there's that column she was up next to. So she would have stepped off and to the left. Keep in mind, we are inside in 1984. The ticket booth was right there. In this shot, you can make out the building across the street, specifically the windows. Use your imagination. Those windows are right over here. A lot of things obstructing the view. But Sarah Connor purchased her ticket for, I think it was $4.50 right here. This is where the Tech Noir booth was set up. I know that because of those two screenshots. That's pretty awesome. All right, much has changed in here, but the space all adds up. Schwarzenegger, the Tech Noir bar, all the way back against the wall. They actually did film in here. They set up the club just for the movie. Did I mention how much I love this scene? All three stories coming together. Decided to get a coffee anyway. Take a load off. All right, so check this out over here. This is one of the main columns, and all the way down you kind of can see it on either side. They cannot change these out. Although this building has changed so much, those main columns, here's one right here kind of hiding in the corner. You can kind of make them out here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should be another one somewhere in there. Right here, I'm gonna place the screenshot. then and now. Just look right down there. The bar would have been back along the far wall, but these columns cannot change. That's what these are right here, all the way down. I'm kind of sitting exactly where she's walking in the pathway. Tech Noir. And somewhere right back here is where the bar was. Actually, specifically about right here before this back column. This back portion of the restaurant has been opened up. Freaking Tech Noir. Playing a lot different music. So right here to the left, this is the former window. The angle gives it away. This is the window, the spot where Arnold was shot out by shotgun blast into the street. And back outside of 720 Hill, notice this column right here, the screenshot I'm about to show you. As Arnold is coming through the window, you can make out this column right behind him as he's about to land right here on his backside. Those plants weren't there back then. But yeah, you can definitely make out that column, the door, all of that. He comes out the window, the former window that was right here, that was flush with these two pillars. And this shot here, that's back inside the club, the broken window, it's shooting out, kind of shooting up. You see Arnold's head. If you look over in the right hand corner, way up in the screen, I didn't know what this was until I got here. That right there, I'll blow it up for you. Looks like a bucket, right? Well, that, on that pole, as you see in this shot behind him, this is the only thing I can see then and now today. That right there is still here. Check this out. In the shadows, but you can see it. That same thing is right there across from Tech Noir, across from Hilltop Coffee. Arnold was more so right here. And you can grab that then and now in the background. As the camera was back inside, shooting out, watching Arnold's head come up. Come with me if you want to live. Right in that area. Bam. This is awesome. So this is Suite 100, 720 Hill Street, Hilltop. Come tell them Tampa J sent you. And it appears that they all run out of the backside of Tech Noir, which they did. But as we learned before, they did not come to this alley on Hill Street. That was the alley back over between Spring and Broadway. But there was a scene filmed over here behind Tech Noir, a couple of scenes in this alley. 728 Hill Street. Behind the buildings, right there, 720, Tech Noir, 728 is right here. Right there, second story. So back there in that alleyway is where this scene was filmed. What year is it? What day is it? What year? That was right behind 728 back here, because we see that on the dumpster. And also this is where Reese runs off and fictitiously runs inside of the department store where he grabs his Nikes. Now that store, not near here. We'll get there eventually. And this parking lot off of Hill Street, right behind 728, across there is 731 Broadway. That is the doorway that Reese enters right after this moment. Where these police cars are, right here, that is this lot I'm looking at right here. And there's the door I'm going to go look at. All right, it's very tight and busy over here. Check this out. So this is the doorway. Right there. 731. Oh, you know what? I'm off one. Okay. This is the door. You see that right there? This is the door that Kyle Reese enters. Because you can make that piece, that metal piece out right down there in the center of the screen. Right there. My bad. This is the fake door. Okay. That's amazing. Bottom right hand corner. So this must be 731. Holy cow, that's awesome. And again, as I was saying, 728 Broadway, as we saw, what year was it? That scene, oh wow, I can see it from here. That scene was right there. That's 728. The dumpster you see right behind Kyle Reese as the officer has the gun to his face. He took the police officer's gun and then look down that way. That's where it all began. That's where the homeless man was, where he took the pants off of him. And you can see the Vincent right down there where the police car was. It's all coming together, hopefully. Again, like I said in the beginning of the video, filming locations of the Terminator like you've never seen before. I'm really breaking this down. Real time. Look at that. That's the door. 445 South Broadway is the address for the Focus Paredes. That's the current name of it. But that is the department store where they filmed the interior scenes of the police chasing after Kyle Reese. This is where he gets his Nikes and his coat. And it looks like during the time of the filming, this perhaps was called Newberry, right there on the sidewalk. It appears that the lights are on in the window. Oh yeah, check it out. The Terminator department store. Holy crap. Didn't think we could see in here. Let's see if we can see the escalator. Don't really see it, doesn't mean it's not. Oh yeah, looks like there's a downstairs. Can't really make out the escalator, but I heard that it's still in the building. And for this next location, I actually had to move my car. I found street parking down First Street here, down behind me. Right here, this building. Specifically, its parking garage. That is 111 Hope Street, North Hope Street to be technical. That parking garage right there is the parking garage where they steal the car. Kyle Reese tells Sarah why he's there, why he's here in 1984. All of that, the shotgun back and forth between the Terminator, the police car, and the Cadillac, all right here in this parking garage. And this is the entryway and the level that they filmed those scenes. This is where Kyle enters the garage, taking this corner right here off of First. The car went right through there, and right in here between L, M, and N, all of those rows. Oh, actually it was right through here. Looks a lot different, but the same. Just to show you where the car came through right here. A little different. The island to the right, the railing a little different. But if you look out beyond, in the shadows behind the trees, I'll put the screenshot in the lower right hand corner. The Cadillac in the screenshot barely coming around the corner. This is an awesome location. Okay, I found it. Row M and row N. You can definitely make out the M as they pull in right here to the left. So somewhere in this row is where they parked the car. It very well could have been right here. Okay, check this out. If this screenshot, if these columns are still accurate, if this is row M, then I found where the car was parked. And it would have been right here. That's where they have the conversation about the future. Because of the columns right behind 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They were running up here behind the car. It was parked right next to this column. I believe that was a Cadillac Eldorado. The painting on the, oh wow, that's still the same. Right there. That's where Kyle Reese told Sarah Connor about the future and the Terminator. I didn't expect to get this spot. All right, this is the spot right here I was just showing you. Check out this screenshot. We've got Arnold right behind in the police car. Notice this column right behind the Eldorado as he's shooting the first shot there. That column is right here. So it was parked here. Arnold first spots them in this spot. You can make out M right behind him there on the column. This is row M. All right, that is freaking sick. So they were both chasing each other adjacent down both of these rows. Reese and Connor, the Terminator and the police car in that furthest row, but they crash into one another right here in this intersection. Right here, hold on, wait for it. Before they head out. And I matched it up because of this pole right on this column. Check it out, watch this. Notice that pole over to the right on that column. That is almost shot for shot. And then Arnold in the police car crashes into the parked box truck right there. Right freaking there. Actually, there you go. Another shot for shot. Check out the ceiling tile, the columns, all lines up. Here you are as they're exiting. You get this quick shot, the exterior of the water department parking garage. Right in there is where all that I just showed you went down. And Reese takes the corner right here. Behind the trees, it's in the shadows, but you can make out this building. Came across First Street here, so you can see this building I was trying to show you before. In the shadows behind the trees, that all matches up. You can see all these windows as Reese was pulling out, leaving the garage. And as I was headed to the next spot, I was walking down this hill and I recognized opposite, now at the right angle, that this is where Kyle Reese and Sarah, actually just like that car, go up in the movie, up to First Street. The parking garage we were just at is right up here to the right. Here's the screenshot. You can see that he goes to the right up the hill. You can make out this fire hydrant, the First Street Bridge, all of that. This is that spot. I just happened to see it as I was walking to this next location. As I was saying, I was walking to the next location, which is right there. It wasn't there in 1984, but they were constructing it. The promenade. That is the construction site where Kyle hot wires the car. He's parked right out here. I'm gonna get a little closer, but just to show you, that is the building they were constructing, where he had the dream about the future. And as I'm walking over here, I discovered another location. We're about to check out the 2nd Street Tunnel. I'll be back. The construction site, 123 South Figueroa Street. Reese was parked out here. All we know is a crane and a lot of construction that happened here. It can't match up anything this way, but as Kyle woke up from his dream, back this way, an angle through the passenger side window, you can make out this building behind him. So the construction site would have been right behind me, 123 South Figueroa. Behind Reese, up there, you see that? Those windows of that apartment building, the same building that was across from the parking garage we just were at. That's the building I was showing you, the blue building, across from First Street, across from the water plant. So they filmed in this area heavily. I always thought it was kind of funny that he steals a vehicle, hot wires it, and then falls asleep right there where, where he stole it. Didn't he think that someone might come along and be like, hey, that's not your car? And then there's a shot of Reese actually pulling off down Figueroa Street. That white car parked right where he was. Try not to get hit. I'll put the screenshot in the lower right-hand corner, but you can see the buildings all the way down the street. Here comes the car. And I told you I will be back. The 2nd Street Tunnel at Figueroa and 2nd Street. This is the chase after the Tiki Motel. Arnold Schwarzenegger on the motorcycle. Sarah and Reese in the black pickup truck throwing the pipe bombs. Now it's really dark in there. It's a tunnel, of course, but I'm breaking it down for you. Arnold's about to enter on the motorcycle. Red, white, and blue. Right when I stepped into the street. Check this out. You can make out the water pipelines on the tunnel as Arnold dodges the pipe bomb. Car's coming. But yeah, right here. Check that out. And the truck exiting out of the 2nd Street Tunnel the way it went in. They just turned it around. Movie magic. This tunnel has a unique shape only on this side. It doesn't look like that on the opposite side, and clearly when they come out of the tunnel, you can make out this wall and that again. Check out this screenshot. The truck and the bike exiting the tunnel right here in this spot. And I actually have to walk through the tunnel to get to the next location. This is actually quite a shortcut. And little did I know, right above me, now on Upper 2nd Street, the Walt Disney Concert Hall. Now that is iconic looking. And these scenes that took place up here, this final chase scene, took place on Grand Street between 2nd and 3rd. And our first spot is actually right here. Arnold Schwarzenegger coming on the motorcycle right before he crashes. He throws down his machine gun in this spot right here. Check this out. Studied Google Street View a lot to get this precise shot. Of course, you see the railing, the white stripe, the edge, the windows to the right in the background. That building was there. And if I were to step out to the left and up, you would make out the fire hydrant on the sidewalk down to the left. The street was clean there. Arnold was in this lane right here, chasing the black truck, which flips on this rail. Would have been opposite camera angle, but right there on the corner. Right here's the rail where the black truck derails, comes up over, does a flip. Right here is where Arnold wrecks his bike, and the truck, just as I expected. You see where that bright truck is? That is where the truck, the semi truck that Arnold commandeers, was sitting. Here in this screenshot, you can see Arnold, the Terminator, throwing the guy down, coming up from under the truck, and starting to go around to the opposite side. Notice the railing, the yellow street line. Also, in the background, this building was not here, by the way, but this building was, and you could see more of it in the screenshot. Look at these windows as I'm matching this up. Down the lower right hand corner, that is where the truck was parked. And check this out, as Arnold's walking up towards the truck, trying not to get terminated. Okay, check it. Arnold gets up right there and is going this way. Here's that shot I was trying to recreate. Actually, it's more like this. As he's going up to the truck, he's limping. He climbs in right here. Get out. And right after that scene, it cuts right here, which is over at the Los Angeles Armory. We will get there eventually. And for the next set of locations, I just have to figure out how to get down there. Lower Grand Street. Now on Lower Grand, I'm going to show you the spot, the chase scene, the first chase scene between the Terminator and Kyle Reese and Connor. After they leave the parking garage, they crash into that wall and they are apprehended and taken to the police station, Connor and Reese. That was filmed right down here. This should look familiar to you. All right, 350 South Grand, Lower Grand. Right here, I'll put the screenshot into frame, the blue Cadillac Eldorado with Arnold in the police car, the Terminator, following, comes around, actually right through here, comes this way. You can make out this column in the wall behind it in the screenshot. I'll zoom in so you can see a little better. There you go, that's a little better. The camera like on the hood of that Cadillac as it takes the corner, the Terminator behind, and all up and down the tunnel this way. You don't get this camera angle. They're taking shotgun blasts at each other. They had just left the parking garage. Check this out. Arnold actually goes up on the curb right there. Present day Wells Fargo. That awning and the grate to the left right there, that parking garage, a lot of that stuff you can match up. Good pause of a screenshot. Look at that. And it was darker when they were filming this. I'm gonna step out in the middle. So not yet constructed, there was a wall right there. And that wall across this intersection is where Reese and Connor crash, and also the Terminator. Okay, check it out. This is the best angle I can give you. This nice quick little shot that shows Reese's hand on the steering wheel. As you can see in the screenshot, there's a wall right there. Look at the skylight, dark then. This column right here, out the window. Look at this. Oh, this is great. This shows you everything right there. Check out his hand. Look over to the left. Right before they crashed into the former wall. Boom, right there. And right here, the crash. This was not built yet. Right dead center of the intersection. Several shots looking back this way as the police officers are coming to apprehend them. You can make out the columns Reese tries to get out with the shotgun. Sarah urges that they will kill him. This video has taken a lot longer than I anticipated. I might not get it out when I thought I was going to, but it's coming out. If you're watching this, it's out, but not originally when I intended it to be. Much ahead, still much to see. Highly anticipated filming location, finally here on Keller Street, just south of downtown. I've passed it for years on the 101 right here. I know when I see this building, I know I'm passing Cyberdyne, the end scene of the Terminator. Now, they did not film the interior portion of Cyberdyne, the warehouse scenes here. I will show you exactly where those were filmed at some point in this video. Lots of things to break down. This is such a pivotal, important, climatic scene. It begins here at the Armory, over here, nearest the Cesar Chavez Bridge. Check that out, famous filming location. Sarah Connor, Kyle Reese running from the truck down this ramp on this side of the building. Check it out, there's the screenshot. Always wondered where this was filmed. Just right before this, they were back on Upper Grand Street, and that has not changed that much in 40 years. Check that out, coming right down the hill, the back side of this building. And then the Terminator comes down, chases them. They take a hard right here in front of the Cyberdyne building. The semi comes around the curve and begins to chase them down the sidewalk, off and on. Okay, this is cool. See this pole down here? See that right there? Right here, I'm backing away just to show you the detail. You can make that out in the screenshot. So there's that pole, the semi coming down the ramp here. You can make out this curb, and there's also a little hole indentation you can make out today, and then in the screenshot as they're hitting the pavement off of the sidewalk. It's right there, do you see it? You can make that out in the screenshot. Also the gate, everything, as they're coming into the street, running west. Linda Hamilton at the time filmed this movie on a sprained ankle. They actually delayed a bunch of these running scenes so she could heal up a little more. Check this out, that fire hydrant, that pole, the truck coming around the corner here, just to the right of the building, it just came that way. That all lines up, still here today. And this quick grab right here of the Terminator's vision as he's chasing Sarah down the street. There was more grass over along the building in this portion during the movie in 1984. Sarah comes back up on the sidewalk. She's on and off this whole time. You can see the truck coming up, about to enter the sidewalk, and way down there, before a dumpster, you can see Reese bending over to light the pipe bomb. This is where Sarah comes back up, this moment here, recreating the shot. Also the bridge in the background again. And then again, exits the sidewalk and starts running in the street. And this is when the truck plows into that car, and kaboom, right here. The truck blows up, pipe bomb ignites in the back. And that right there behind Linda Hamilton is actually a fake facade of this building that they constructed at Fantasy 2 Studios in Burbank. It was a miniature truck that they blew up, and they actually blew it up twice. There was an error filming the first shot, the miniature, the little set, and they actually redid that footage all in, I think it was like less than 24 hours. They did that twice. And I paused it just right so you can look closely and examine the shot. It's a miniature model. If you look at the wall, not as detailed, it does look a lot like it though. It's changed here in real life now, but this is the portion. And the truck blows up right here. Giant explosion. Reese and Sarah think that it's over, but as we know, it's not over. The Terminator, arguably one of the best scenes of the entire movie, ascends from the flames. And I would just want to say this moment right here, Jim Cameron was in Italy working on Piranha 2, and he had a dream, he had a nightmare of a man-like machine rising from the flames. He dreamt the Terminator into existence and made that dream into reality. And he recreated that dream right here in his creation. Isn't that awesome? Kyle looking back this direction, seeing the Terminator rise, and look behind him. You can make out the stone staircase of the loading dock. Look at this. We know this spot was right here in the shadows. You can see the railing then and now today. And also that's the door they're about ready to enter Cyberdyne. Look at that. I always remember that look, like, oh crap. Although when you see the T-800 rise from the flames, this was the spot across from that door. Linda Hamilton, Michael Biehn, looking back this way to the crash site. Stan Winston did a heck of a job with that Terminator model. I believe this scene was shot back at Fantasy 2 as well. And they take off running towards the door right here, this very door they enter to the fictional factory. That hasn't changed much at all. Look at this. This is awesome. Terminator physically in the street right here. Notice the loading dock up behind them, the door that they just busted through. Holy crap, that's awesome. That matches up so well. Now rolling on the 5, heading up to South Pasadena. And currently sitting vacant, the filming location of Big Jeff's restaurant, where we first see Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton come to for a day of work in the beginning of Terminator. Check this out, on the corner of Fremont Street and Mission Street. We're just a few blocks away from the Michael Myers house from Halloween. I was just a couple blocks up here back in the 1st of October for Halloween 45. And the scene begins here on Fremont as Sarah Connor is coming down this street this way towards the restaurant on her scooter. The light pole and this tree have not changed much in the last 40 years. Check this out. This is where she comes off of the road and up on the sidewalk as she's driving towards the restaurant. That's pretty easy to find just because the light pole and the tree have not changed. Look at that down the lower right hand corner. It's actually more like this. Look at that. On the wall of the restaurant right here, the words Big Jeff written. Big Jeff himself, just like Big Boy with the big burger, a statue right there. Linda Hamilton parks her scooter right next to this very tree and chains it up on the trunk. If you look at this screenshot, you can see the burger, the tree in the corner of this building, specifically this end right behind her. There was a house that used to sit over there. It's not there anymore. Grab the screen just right so you can see her chaining up her scooter. A little different, just a little bit. And paused it just right again so you can make out the Chevron gas station behind Linda Hamilton in front of the tree as she is just chained it up. There's still a Chevron gas station over there today. Just to confirm again that it was this tree that she chained up her scooter. And Big Jeff, Linda Hamilton looks back at her scooter just to make sure it's all good over here. You see the words Big Jeff behind Big Jeff himself again right here. On that wall, there was an awning here. There was like a curtain hanging down. Linda Hamilton walks into work this way. Holy cow, okay, this is the restaurant. I think right over there in that corner, see the windows? That's where she was asking who had, what was it called? The burly beef? And the kid puts the ice cream scoop. Yeah, that's it, right over there in that corner. I'm pretty sure, just because of the shape of the windows. Check out the screenshot. If not, it may have been on the opposite side. Yeah, this was filmed here. Sarah Connor realizing that someone might be out to get her. You're dead, honey. Right there. You're dead, honey. That's one of my favorite lines. And just over an hour outside of Los Angeles, 40 miles out to a small town called Little Rock. This served as the filming location of the end when Sarah Connor came to the gas station. And if you're looking for the correct address, this is 37202 90th Street East, Little Rock, California, Los Angeles back that way. Sarah Connor would have been rolling in here, just like that red car in her Jeep Red Renegade, and she would have pulled into the gas pump. Now, the pumps are a little further back than they were in the movie. I'm placing it about right here is the spot because of the mountains in the background you can see in the screenshot. If you look out here and you see the mountains, and this telephone pole might be the same one you see in the screenshot, but this all matches up in the movie as she's pulling in right here. There's the screenshot. Check out the mountains in the far distance. You can see as she pulls up to the pump that formerly would have sat in this area. It looks like the station's been moved back a bit, and I'd say this is a new station. The old one torn down. And fun fact, I read somewhere online that this filming location, the gas station here, the Paymex as it was called in the Terminator, was the same filming location for ZZ Top's music video, Give Me All Your Lovin'. The ZZ Top music video was filmed right here at the former building of the gas station, the same one used at the end of the Terminator. Now we're gonna match up some more stuff out here. This is a very crucial moment at the end. This is when the little boy takes her photograph. We didn't know then, but later that photograph would be used in the sequel, T2 Judgment Day. And then Sarah Connor drove off into the distance. A storm came. This is very awesome. I'm getting goosebumps. So I got a screenshot here. Sarah's getting out of the car. The K9, the German Shepherd, inside the vehicle. Now if you look way out behind her, the mountains over her left shoulder are right. You see how they dupe down? I can match that up here today. Check this out. So right there, I'm zoomed all the way in so you can see that dip as you see behind Sarah there back in 1984. Check this out. I'm gonna zoom out. Right here before the gas station. This is confirming this right here. You see this? This is right down there to the right of Sarah. This lines up perfectly. The pumps were right here. Sarah parked in her Jeep Renegade right here. Ooh, there's a Chihuahua coming. But this is the line right here, the former pumps. Very important for the sequel. She's recording the tapes for John Connor. She would leave for her unborn son. And right here is when the boy approaches and takes the picture and asks for $5. But Sarah replies, $4. And then the boy runs off over to the right and he says in Spanish, there's a storm coming. And Sarah doesn't realize what she says and asks the gentleman of the gas station, what did he say? And he said, there's a storm coming. And she replies, I know. Which is the last words of the Terminator 1984, uttered right here in this spot as her Jeep was parked in front of the Paymex gas station. And then when Sarah drives off from the gas station, she heads down this way, and it appears that she drives towards some wicked looking mountains and those clouds. The storm is coming. That was actually a matte painting, painted. And it was just a shot of a Jeep her Jeep going down a random road. That shot was actually made in post-production. They forgot to make that shot, so they had a double stand in for Linda Hamilton, and they actually got that shot of her going down a random road with a bunch of Joshua trees. The mountain's fake, but it appeared that she pulled off this way at the end of the movie. And now we come back to Griffith Park. We started out on the other side, now we're on the northeast side. We're gonna check out some of these drainage culverts, or technically trail walkthroughs. It is said that they used one of these culverts down here among Griffith Park for the scene where you see the drainage culvert. Reese and Sarah Connor spend a night down in the tunnel. Let me set this up properly. I have been searching for this location for the longest time, not just me, but a lot of fans of the film. This is one of the most, actually the biggest mystery of the Terminator. No one can seem to find the exact location of the drainage culvert scene. Now, I have my speculations. After doing research, studying the map, I think, maybe found the possible location of the tunnel. We're gonna go and try to find it. That's part of the fun, right? Part of the fun. We begin here next to the Travel Town Museum. Actually, one of my speculations is right over here, down inside the museum. And before I get too further, I want to set this up properly. This is very important. I've spent a lot of time on this specific location. It is a mystery. No one has found it. People have speculated it's in this region right here, but I go with me a set of clues. I know for a fact, and I've marked it in these screenshots, that I'm looking for a downslope of a hill, the sun in the background at a certain spot. There are telephone wires or power line wires. I have placed there that yellow arrow showing you. I'm looking for that as they walk out. And I can already tell that's not the ditch we're looking for. Why? Because it's round. The ditch we're looking for is square. That's definitely a round tunnel. We're looking for a square tunnel. That's not it. This is tunnel number 9. I can already see that this tunnel is much too large to be the one from the Terminator. All right, so I've stopped right over here. Down the hill here, there's another tunnel. I'm gonna see if this one matches up. It goes right underneath this road. Okay, this is a good sign. As I'm walking down, I'm seeing a power line. Just like you see as Reese and Sarah Connor walk off and they head up that way, there was a power line. So that's a good sign. Get my reaction real time. Oh, there's 2 tunnels down here. There's one right there. And there's one right here. Huh. Let's check them out. This would be more accurate because of the position of the power line. Now I don't see a hill on the farther side, just a parking lot over there. Let's take a look. So this is what we're looking for. The screenshot from the movie. As you can see, this has a very unique shape, this culvert here, and it looks like some sort of a red brick to the left as they're walking out. And notice that in the corner of the tunnel, it's kind of squared off. It's not a complete square, it's kind of more like a triangle there. This tunnel here has that same shape right here in the corner. You see this? See what I'm talking about? See that shape? Now obviously I don't think this is the tunnel. It doesn't have that red brick to the side. It does have the power lines. As if this were the real tunnel, they would have walked off that way. You can see the power line. There's no hill over there. There's a parking lot, I believe, to the Los Angeles Zoo. But very close. Very close. And also, that's just a giant hole. That's so much bigger than the tunnel we see in the Terminator. And as for that one over there, same thing. Just to mess with your mind a little bit, I'll put a screenshot in the lower right hand corner. There are some unique looking trees out that end of the tunnel that are similar to the ones you see in the movie. Now this tunnel would have been about half the size and a little lower. Actually, this is way too tall. Linda Hamilton and Michael Biehn. I've met Michael Biehn in person. Michael Bihn's my height. About 6'2", 6'3"-ish. They would have walked in just like this. Michael Biehn over here, Linda Hamilton first over here. They spend the night on this side of the wall. Now if this were the tunnel, if this were the spot, this would be the location. Do I think it was filmed here? I don't know. But if it were a tunnel that still exists here at Griffith Park, it would be tunnel number 3. Just because of the position of the power lines up there, this lines up pretty right with all the clues that we have. There are not many of them. Connor, John, Connor, Sarah, your son. All right, 2-hour parking right off the side of Hollywood Boulevard. Actually, right here is the next filming location. I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, probably. But family owned and operated since 1949, Hollywood's oldest Italian restaurant, Micheli's, This is the location, the pizzeria, where Sarah Connor is eating the pizza, and over here is about the second Sarah Connor being killed. All right, welcome inside. Now, I've pinpointed the spot where I think Sarah Connor was sitting, eating the pizza, just because of the bar location over here, and the banisters, which have not changed, and the window behind. I think she was sitting right here, eating the pizza all by herself. You can make out the railing then and now. I'll put a screenshot in the right hand corner. Now there used to be some sort of a lamp, you can see it on top of that post there behind her. So she would have been sitting right here. There is a payphone in here, but not the one we're looking for. That one's a little too old. Now from what I've gathered, I've spent a couple of minutes looking in here. Looks like it's changed a lot. I believe the payphone was actually beyond the bar and right over there on that wall, just because of the bar location to the seat when Sarah comes over, which was right here. I think it's changed just a little bit in here. Hollywood's oldest Italian restaurant. I'll tell you what, the food smelled great. Wish I had more time. And I just wanted to show you, I just happen to be on Hollywood Boulevard right now, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Hollywood Star, which sits right in front of Guinness World Records. He was once the California governor as well. And I have with me, taken almost 30 years ago, 1994, would have been 10 years after the Terminator, myself and my little camera, right here on my first trip to Hollywood with my parents. Just wanted to throw this in the video. I've always been a fan of the Schwarzenegger. Little Tampa J. I'll be back. Came back 30 years later. 415 South Fowler Avenue, right here in Burbank. Not so sure how accurate the address I got, but I think this was the home of Fantasy 2 Studios, where the miniature models of the Terminator were created that you see in the film. Fantasy 2 Studios, legendary. The Terminator is how they began. Gene Warren Jr., owner Fantasy 2 Film Effects. This was the production special effects company that created the miniatures that you see in the Terminator. And Fantasy 2 would go on to work with James Cameron a number amount of times, including Aliens. He would, I think Gene would actually win an Oscar eventually. I cannot confirm that this is the actual location. This is the only address I found online that had to do with Fantasy 2 back in 1984. I have confirmed that it was somewhere here in Burbank, but I just wanted to come over here and talk about that, because that is a very vital, pivotal part of the movie. The special effects, the stop motion, all done by Fantasy 2 right here in Burbank. Could be right here behind me. And for our next filming location, we come to Belgrave and Boyle. This is 6001 Boyle Avenue. Across the street, the former police station used to sit here in the Terminator. The address was 6000 Boyle Avenue. There's an old photo I found online of the actual location that was used that says 6000 right on the door. Those doors in that photo, those were the doors that the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, drove his car through. One of the most iconic scenes and phrases filmed right here at 6000 Boyle in the former police station from the Terminator. I'll be back, uttered right across the street. This is also, that building was an office of the Bethlehem Steel plant, which was right behind here. They also filmed scenes from the Terminator of the future war at Bethlehem Steel. Not the miniatures, but the actual tunnel scenes where you see Kyle Reese walking through and fighting the Terminator. Those were also filmed on this property. Too bad it's not here. Torn down sometime in the late 90s. It is cool that we can find these old photos that match up the scenes, specifically the front entryway where the Terminator drove the car through. That was right here. This is awesome. I wish it was still here. If it was, this would be one of the most visited filming locations in all of LA. I'll be back. I think because it's not physically here anymore, people have forgot how important this hallowed ground is, though. Still cool to be here. This is the spot that put Arnold Schwarzenegger on the map. He was already huge, but he got a lot bigger. No pun intended with this movie. This is where you see Dr. Silverman for the first time. Dr. Silverman in the first 3 Terminator movies, always revising his role, a comic relief, more so in the 3rd one. This is hallowed ground as far as filming locations. 6000 Boyle Avenue, right here in Vernon. I'll be back right there. Now walking up towards the next location. It's actually on my left, 7301 Santa Fe Avenue. The Tiki Motel. Much has changed. It looks like part of the building is gone, and this is no longer a motel. This is where Sarah and Reese hide out in room number 9. There's the address right here. Just gonna show you this real time. Okay, yeah, this is definitely not a motel anymore. This looks like more of an apartment building. Oh, okay, I think I make out the original structure though. Okay, I've concluded that is not where they stayed. This was not even seen. This is behind the old office area, which was this building. This blue stretch right here, down towards the end, that would have been room number 9. And also, way back there, you can see part of the hotel, the motel. Their room was down there, the 2nd room before the end. So this is the original portion of the Tiki Motel you see in the Terminator. The main entrance would have been more so over this way. And that lines up because of some of the screenshots I'm about to show you with the signage behind me when Arnold Schwarzenegger takes off on the motorcycle. That would have been more this way. Okay, yes. Yeah, right through there. Room number 9 is down to the right. So the driveway entry off of Santa Fe has not changed. This is where Sarah and Reese walked up, passing a payphone and the Tiki Motel sign, which used to be right over there. In the distance of the screenshot, you can make out the windows, specifically this one and this one, of the house. I would have been a little to the right inside the property, but this is the shot showing you that the payphone was there and the office. Now this building has been built, but the office right there and right behind that blue building right there, that strip is where their room was, room number 9 on the bottom floor, the 2nd from the last room to the right. I step back a little bit. You can see the shape, like the L shape of the motel. Straight back through that way if we were able to get inside. All right, so I took a picture. I got my arm way out. That's the best I could do. That's the room down there to the right that they stayed in. You see that window right there? That's the filming location inside that room. Different angle from the movie. That's the best angle I could get you. I had to stick my arm way out there to get that shot. That's the room. Crazy. That's where the lovemaking happened. That's where little John Connor was conceived. Here's a good shot. Okay, Arnold's about to jump on this bike that was parked right here on the corner. So he got on the bike and peeled off this way. And you can see that sign as Schwarzenegger's pulling off in the motorcycle right here. You can see that same sign in the background then. And now here today. You see that? Look at the screenshot. Yeah, that was right here. It's crazy. So cool. Okay, not only can you see kind of the room down there, you can see the stair steps that you see in the reverse angle. Check this out. Check out this screenshot. You see the steps over to the left? Those are those stairs right there. Yeah, this part to the right is original of the building. Their room is right down there to the right. And when Kyle leaves the motel to get the supplies for the pipe bombs, he walks down the sidewalk right here. Much has changed, but you do see the signs of a fueling station, specifically a Shell station in the screenshot. He walks right down there. I'd say most of the buildings down this street have changed, but he definitely walks down this sidewalk right here. And now on the north side of downtown Los Angeles, 420 South Lafayette Place, the exterior for Sarah Connor's apartment. Schwarzenegger going in to the apartment right here in this doorway. The Terminator walks right up these steps. It has not changed, the entryway to this apartment complex. They used this for the exteriors, but the interiors were filmed back in North Hollywood. The call box, everything right here all matches up. I've got the screenshot in the lower right hand corner. Arnold Schwarzenegger was here 40 something years ago. I always felt like this would be a great shot to recreate. Walk right up the steps like the Terminator. And right before that moment, the police car actually pulls off. Right here, check this out. You can make all these windows out in the background before this shot. The Terminator's coming up to my left. This is right before Arnold walks up to those steps, or walks up those steps. So there's a little mystery to where the parking garage of Sarah Connor's apartment was, or is. Where was that filmed? I cannot find that parking garage. It appeared that it might be underneath where the interiors of her apartment were filmed, but no, those are not there. In Caddy Corner from 420, right over here, there was a rumor that at 435 Lafayette across the street, there was a rumor that the interior scenes, Sarah Connor's apartment, was filmed here. But no, that is not true. Those were filmed at the apartment in North Hollywood. And now we come to 11844 Hamlin Street in North Hollywood. This is where they filmed the interior scenes of Sarah's and Ginger's apartment. The interior scenes where Sarah and Ginger are getting ready, both for their evening. Sarah's about ready to leave for her date and gets stood up. Those scenes were filmed here, and then later, when the Terminator comes, Schwarzenegger comes and kills who she thinks is Sarah, but ultimately terminates Ginger and her boyfriend. Those scenes were filmed here in apartment 225, which I believe is somewhere on this side. Maybe I can get closer. As Sarah is leaving her apartment, the scenes of the parking garage below the apartment, those were not filmed here. I can tell by just looking at the garage, but it appears she leaves by her scooter in a similar type of garage and heads out this way, but those scenes were not filmed here. And it looks like these apartments are closed to the public, but I believe I can see apartment 225 from standing right down here. Check this out. Can't really tell, but I believe that says 225 right here. So we cannot access the apartment building. It is private property. It's all locked up, but I want to point out that 225 is right here in this area, specifically this one right here. And of course, I will put a link to the source where I got this information for this location to give credit. Check out all the links in the description below, but this is the interior filming location, apartment 225, which is right up here in this area from the Terminator. This is where Schwarzenegger took out Ginger and her boyfriend. Oh boy, so cool. And now approaching 320 Winston Street, the backside of the Panama Hotel. This is where they filmed the scenes of the Terminator inside of the apartment, getting in and out of the window, fixing his eye. All of that was depicted right here in the Panama Hotel. We're near Skid Row. Now I think they did do some set shots, specifically of the Stan Winston effects, the eye, and when he's fixing his arm. I think those were done on off location, but when he's getting in and out of his room and climbing through the window, I just want to say, because of the screenshots that you see of this building behind here, just a little bit of the neon, I want to say that that one right there in the middle, either this one or that one. Now the ladders could have changed, but here's my theory. He walks out of his room from the left side and goes down the hallway. Now that very well could just be a hallway down the middle, and that could be the room. You know what I'm saying? But this is the hotel. It was right there in that vicinity where Arnold Schwarzenegger was the Terminator. Now I wish we could go in there. There's a little cat. As you can see, I'm here a little earlier in the morning on purpose. Not a lot of people are up yet. Dude, that's freaking awesome. The Terminator's apartment. Okay guys, welcome to the city of industry. 13,001. Right there once stood Kern Foods Factory, which was the filming location of the interior scenes of Cyberdyne filmed in Terminator. No longer there. But I found online that this is the former location, and Kern Foods is where they filmed that. And the address coincides. 13,001. The Terminator is crushed in the hydraulic press. Kyle is killed. One of the best scenes in the movie. Horrific. All filmed right here on this block in the former building that used to sit here. Man, I hate when filming locations disappear. For years, there was opportunities before the internet. People could have went in there and matched up those spots. But the technology wasn't quite there yet. It is here now in the future. I'm nerding out right now. This is awesome. That is where the scenes were filmed. The climatic ending of the Terminator. T101, T800. There was 2 model numbers used for the Terminator, T101 and T800. So I think I heard James Cameron explain it. So the T800 is the actual robot without the skin, and the T101 is the overlay over the, yeah, I know it's confusing, but just to clarify that. Man. All right. So Arnold wasn't actually here. That was just the model that they used. They didn't even need him here. Maybe he just came and hung out though on set. I don't know. Arnold was not there, but the Terminator was. All right, much ahead. Cyberdyne. And just like that, we're back in the Hollywood Hills. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you're a huge fan of the Terminator like I am, I hope you enjoyed this adventure vicariously. That was a fun time. And like I've said the whole video, a little movie magic. I actually started this video a few days back. It took me 3 days to put this together. All because I was doing other things, but these locations are so spread out. You've got LA traffic, you've got me being a noob. I don't know LA that well. All kinds of things happened. Traffic was the biggest one. And I found some other locations. So I really took my time to piece this one together. I thank you all for watching, guys. I really appreciate you being here. If you're a fan of the Terminator and or filming locations, I invite you to subscribe below to the channel if you haven't done so already. There is a playlist on the main page of my YouTube channel of all of the filming locations videos I have made so far, and I'll be adding to that. So if you subscribe to that playlist and the channel, you won't miss my next filming locations project, which will be coming out very soon. This is a great, beautiful spot to end such a fun, exciting episode. Thank you all. I can't thank you enough for being here, especially you Terminator fans. Kind of looks like the mountain at the end, doesn't it? There's a storm coming, although not today. Look at that blue sky. All right, guys, know you're awesome. know you're loved. And no matter who you are, what you're going through, just know I'll be back. And also know that you're loved and that you're awesome. All right, guys. See you later, California. See you later.